Hey, sports porchers! It's your hockey Jesus, and I'm here to give you analysis of game one of both the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. Hey, welcome aboard to the Sports Porch. I'm your hockey Jesus. I've been here throughout the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs, giving you my analysis. I'm hoping to ramp it up a little bit here in the finals now that, we basically only have one game every night. And I hope you are watching these playoffs. If you're not, I'm here to give you the analysis, the synopsis, not the whole game. I can't give you the whole game. You really got to watch the NHL to be able to do this. Look, the ratings this year are through the roof. So a lot more people are watching these Eastern and Western Conference Finals, probably because of Canadian teams in it. Let's not lie. Let's say it like it is. When Canada is involved, more people watch hockey. That's just the way it is. Welcome, Canada. I hope you're a sports porcher. Hit the subscribe button. You'll get the hockey Jesus after every game. Look, let's go over some of the players first before we jump into game one. Edmonton's got 5 of the top 10 scoring players in these playoffs. Everybody knows their names: Draisaitl, McDavid, Bouchard, which is a bit of a surprise, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman. Look, these guys, Draisaitl, McDavid, and Bouchard, had over 20 points in the first two series. That's never been done before in the NHL. And honestly, when it comes to hockey, it's about scoring goals. The team that scores the most goals always wins the game. Guaranteed. I promise you. That's a promise from the hockey Jesus to you. But you can't give up too many goals either. And that's where I think Edmonton's been doing a lot better. Look, Skinner's not great. He's got an 888 save percentage. He's got the worst goals against at 2.7, but it's enough right now. It's enough right now for Edmonton. It's so much fun to watch Edmonton play too. I know they play a little too loose for some people, but I love the back and forth. I think it's great for the game, and I'm just happy to see Edmonton get past Vancouver and play against Dallas. Dallas, on the other hand, they play a very different style game. They score enough. They rely on Ottinger, and they just have depth. So you don't know where the scoring is going to come from. That being said, their top two goal scorers are tied for 12th of all the goal scorers in the playoffs in the postseason. They only have 13 points each. Heiskanen and Robertson. I was surprised to see Robertson there. I actually don't think he is having a great playoffs, but hey, he's tied for the team lead at 13. Look, there are a lot of other players that Dallas have that can score. Seguin scored twice last night, or Sagan. I'm really not really sure how to pronounce his name. I'm going to say Sagan because I don't like Seguin. That just doesn't sound right. I'm going to go with Tyler Sagan. Sagan scored two last night. We'll get into the game analysis, but I think Dallas is going to have to score a little bit more against Edmonton. It seems like Edmonton can easily score 3 goals. They're going to get two. If Edmonton doesn't get two, their record is awful, off the charts, awful. So I think that's really going to be the what we're going to look for when we analyze these games. Let's go to the Eastern Conference. These teams are a little bit more evenly matched when it comes to the scoring. Kachuk, Barkov, and Verhaeghe are the three scorers. Kachuk's the fifth leading scorer in the playoffs, behind Nugent Hopkins, because Edmonton has the top four. Barkov's tied for 12th with Verhaeghe at 13. Basically, they're the same player as Heiskanen and Robertson when it comes to scoring. Look, Florida definitely knows that they need to play a defensive game, okay? And they only need to get enough scoring. And that's really all it takes for Florida to win. They got Bobrovsky in goal, 910 save percentage, 2.17 goals against, just slightly above Ottinger's, who has a 919 save percentage and 2.1 goals against. So he's actually okay by those standards. My standards for a goalie is you got to be over 900 save percentage, and if you have below a 2.5, you're going pretty good. If you're below 2.0, you're smoking hot. So at 2.17 and 910, I'd say Bob is keeping them in most games. And the best part about Bob is the team feels very confident when he's on the ice. I don't. I personally don't think he's that good, but it doesn't matter because I'm not skating out there, and Florida is, and that's how Florida's been winning their games. Let's get to the New York Rangers. Everybody knows the New York Rangers really rally behind Igor Shesterkin. 926 save percentage, 2.37 goals against. That's really kind of bizarre because his save percentage is very high, and his goals against. I'm sorry, his save percentages is very low. 926 is the best of the goalies that are left. And actually, I'm not counting those goalies that only played like 40 minutes in the playoffs. He's the best in the playoffs by far. But the 2.37 goals against is a little high, and that just tells me that they're just getting a lot of shots on goal. New York Rangers going to have to clamp that down. And I think they can against Florida. They didn't in the first. Look, Zibanejad and Trocheck tied for eighth in scoring. They have 14 points, almost the same as Florida. So it's kind of a wash. Panarin's in the mix. He's just below those guys. So is Kreider. Kreider's in the neighborhood, but Kreider really needs to pick up his game. He's a power play guru at this point. Chris Kreider is, and he's the spark that gets it going. Let's talk about the games. Enough about the players. Game one, Florida comes out and beats the Rangers 3-0. How did they do it? Well, they did it how they normally do it. They got an early goal from Kachuk, and they played boring hockey for the next 2.5 periods of play, and they just hold on. That's what Florida does. And not that they're not trying to score, because they're definitely trying to score. And when you have Igor in goal, you're going to have to get a little bit creative in how you're going to get there. But they don't really need to. And honestly, the way Florida plays, 1-0 a 1-0 lead is a big lead for them. So really, it's up to the Rangers tonight to be able to get the first goal to get Florida off their game. By the way, Florida doesn't mind playing from behind either. So that's what makes this Florida team so tough to play against. And in the first game, the Rangers only had 2 power plays, went 0 for 2, but they had 12 giveaways. The Florida Panthers only had 4. So they're going to have to cut down on those giveaways. That's what's giving Florida a lot of chances. They're going to have to be smarter with getting the puck out of the zone. And hey, Bob got a shutout. Anytime you get a shutout, you're playing well. And I think that was more of a system shutout than it was Bob being fancy. But Verhage got that goal late, and then Bennett gets the empty net, and everybody leaves the stands at Madison Square Garden. They get another chance tonight. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Rangers tie it up. I also wouldn't be surprised to see Florida win another close one. I would be surprised if either of these teams blow the other out. If Florida blows out the Rangers tonight, the Rangers are in some serious trouble. I would love to see that personally. I'm not a Rangers fan. As you can see, I got my Pittsburgh Civic Arena shirt on. So I should be anti-Florida too, but they play in the Atlantic, so don't get too excited about them. And both of these styles, by the way, aren't great styles. They are kind of, you know, jam up the middle of the zone, get enough play, puck control, a lot of cycling, just wear the other team out and score a goal. In the case of the Rangers, they need to get to the power play, but if Florida stays disciplined, they're going to have trouble. Anyway, Florida's up 1-0 in the Eastern Conference Series, and last night, Dallas and Edmonton played to a double overtime game. Honestly, I went to bed after the third period. I saw the score this morning, and I finished watching the game on the DVR this afternoon. And what a great overtime period that was. That's the one thing about hockey. I wish they could start a little bit sooner, because that was some of the best hockey I've seen in these Stanley Cup playoffs. I thought the action was great. Look, when McDavid missed that goal in the first overtime, I was like, uh-oh. When you miss an opportunity like that, it usually comes back to bite you. Also, how about McDavid giving a 4-minute power play to Dallas right off the start in the first power play? He could have easily been the GOAT in that game. Instead, he was the greatest of all, the other GOAT, and he did get the goal on a beautiful pass by Bouchard. Bouchard is just playing great. He Look, I went back and looked at that goal again. I've been singing Tanev's praises all playoffs so far. Him and Lundell got stuck behind the net, and to me, it looked like Lundell was like a deer in the headlights, like just watching the play from the back of the net. Tanev, you can see, makes a beeline to David when he sees him, but Lundell was in the way. I don't know what they were thinking there. They're going to look at that tape and they're going to be embarrassed to leave McDavid out in front like that. But Bouchard got him the puck real quick. McDavid one times it in, and that was the winner. And that puts Edmonton up 1-0. So that's it, man. Those are your finals. This is what we do on the Porch. I am your hockey producer. I will be here after the games. I'm going to try and get here after both games. That way I can analyze both games in a row. It's going to be a little hard. We have Memorial Day weekend here in the States. For you Canadians, that means nothing. But for us, that means we get Monday off, and that means I get to go have some fun with my brothers. So I may not be around for game 2, but I promise Sunday night, I will be here with the analysis of Game 2, and if there's a Game 3 thrown in there, I might just skip it and just give you Game 2 analysis. So, people of hockey, come to the Porch. I'm your hockey Jesus. I will give you the analysis after every game in these Eastern Conference Finals. I'm looking forward to the Stanley Cup Finals, to be honest with you. That's really what I'm living for, but let's get through these Eastern and Western Conference Finals. Root for your team hard and come back at the end of each series. Until then, I'm your hockey Jesus, and I